Hey kiddo, what are you doing here all alone?
I'm just stargazing, Mama. See how clear and beautiful the sky is? I can see so many stars today. Mama, I think that is Jupiter. And see, there's Ceres over there.
Wow, then why don't you use your telescope to view them more clearly?
A good idea. I'm going to take my telescope.
The complex cosmos have stunned many scientists and astrophysicists since ages. There have been many speculations among the scientists. Some gave theories, some gave evidences in order to understand this mysterious universe. Each scientist had his own perspective, and each perspective was challenged by many others. And science does not believe in perspectives alone. It requires proofs. Very few scientists succeed in proving their perspective. And today we are going to learn about one such exceptional personality who questioned the traditional views and dedicated his entire life for the sake of modern science. A very good morning to all my dear students. How are you all children? I hope you're all geared up for your eEdu Plus 2021 and will get to see nice presentations and displays this time, I guess. I really appreciate your zeal and your effort that you're putting in your projects. I hope that you have picked, planned and performed very well for this eEdu Plus 2021. Children, this is the time when you can really kindle your scientific temper and understand the true essence of each and every subject. The more you involve, the better you understand and the more you will appreciate. And today I am going to talk about one such person who as a kid started experimenting and understanding the nature around him, the science around him. And as he grew up, he started challenging the then prevailing traditional scientific concepts. He did not compromise on the traditional concepts. He wanted to find out the truth about the science. I am talking about none other than Galileo Galilei. He was born in 1564 at Pisa in Italy, and as he grew up, he started, inventing so many things, discovering so many things that ultimately led to the title of the father of modern science. So as I told you, he was born in 1564 in Pisa, Italy, along with 6 brothers and sisters. His father was a music teacher and also a very good musician. As a child, he also had this interest in music and he was an excellent student. At first, he aspired to become a doctor. So he joined the University of Pisa in 1581 to study medicine. Later, while in university, he got more interested in maths and physics. There he started doing small experiments and he started observing the things around in that perspective. One of his first observations was observing a lamp that was hanging from the ceiling in a cathedral church. So it was just swinging to and fro. He observed as a young man of 20 years old of age, he was just observing how the lamp was swinging back and forth. He observed because in those times there were no wristwatches to calculate the time, how much it is taking to move back and forth. So what he did is, he made his heartbeat or the pulse itself as the measurement of time. He saw how much time it is taking to move back and forth. Despite how far the lamp swung, it was taking exactly the same time to move back and forth till it came to rest. No matter how small the oscillations are or how big the oscillations are, now what we know as amplitude, isn't it? So irrespective of the amplitude, it was taking exactly the same amount of time to swing back and forth. That was one of his earliest discoveries, which later developed into so many. He developed that concept and later it was applied in so many things, what we know as in clocks and all. This is where his journey of inventions and discoveries started. He started experimenting and challenging the traditional views also. One such example is proving Aristotle wrong. One of the traditional beliefs was that if you drop 2 things of different weights, one lighter and one heavier, then if you drop it from some height, it was believed that the heavier object would fall down much faster than the lighter one. Galileo Galilei proved this wrong by climbing on to the Leaning Tower of Pisa and dropping two stones of the same size and shape but different in weights, one heavier and one lighter. He dropped both the stones together at a time, and it was found that both of them reached the ground at the same time. So this proved Aristotle wrong. Galileo's views, his works and his experiments were not appreciated by people. But he did not get disheartened. He continued his research. He did not give up. He continued his experiments. He continued challenging the views until he redefined the true essence of science and other subjects. He contributed so much to the society that ultimately fetched him the title of the father of the modern science. He has given so many things. He has invented so many things, like he improved the basic model of a telescope. His own version was used in the entire Europe. And he invented one of the early microscopes and also the predecessor to the thermometer, which is nothing but the thermoscope. And he also stated the law of free fall. He also supported the Koppen mechanism, nothing but the heliocentric theory, where it was previously believed that the earth was at the center and all the planets revolved, even the sun revolved around it, but it is not actually the thing. He supported the Copernicus theory of the heliocentric theory, in which states that the sun is at the center and all the planets revolved around it. He made use of his own telescopes for observing the movements of different planets like the Jupiter and the Saturn, and ultimately supported the Copernicanism. He used his telescopes also to observe many other astronomical things, like astronomical observations like the sunspots in the sun, the Saturn, the rings of the Saturn, the mountains in the moon, on the moon, and the craters on the moon. They thought that the moon was, the surface is so smooth, but until he told, he was the one who observed through his telescope, and he told that there are so many craters on the surface of the moon. In addition to this, he made so many other astronomical observations like the phases of the Venus, the 4 moons of the Jupiter, and whatnot. He published all this information, all these observations using a telescope in 1610 in a scientific paper which is titled as the Starry Messenger. He became blind by 1637, but yet he did not stop. He did not give up. He continued sharing his ideas to his son, who is Vincenzo. He was not only his son but also his biographer. So he shared all his ideas to him, and one of such ideas was that of a pendulum clock. How this principle of pendulum can be applied to the clock. How can a pendulum be made to continue to swing, rather than if you leave a pendulum like that, what happens? It swings and it comes to a halt. But instead of that, how can you make a pendulum to go on swinging? He shared his ideas to make this mechanical, pendulum clock. And this became the basis for the first mechanical pendulum clock that was invented after 1 year after his death. So in 1642, this great personality had his last breath. But we continue to remember him for years to come because of his immense contributions to the world of science. He will always be remembered as the father of modern science. So today, let us learn about one of the earliest observations of Galileo Galilei, which is nothing but the simple pendulum. Okay, let's know more about it as a part of eEduPlus 2021. Okay, let's check it out.